noise of the rushing world. A gentle voice, a story unfurled, wisdom from a distant shore, opening a brand new door.
The air outside has shifted its texture. When you open the window now, there is a distinct scent carried by the wine, the smell of a season turning over a new leaf. Some days the sunlight is so brilliantly clear, it feels like a gentle pat on the shoulder. While on other days, the soft rhythm of rain seems to wash away the dust gathered in the corners of the heart. I wonder what the weather is like where you are resting today. Wherever that may be, I want to tell you you've worked so hard today. In this quiet hour, as you pause your busy steps to catch your breath, I've prepared a small space to sit beside you and share a warm story. Today, I want to read to you from a book titled It's a Relief to Live Like Bonobono, written by Kim Shin-ho. For a long time, Kim worked as a television writer, a profession that required her to keenly observe the subtle nuances of human relationships and those clumsy, unrefined emotions we often fail to soothe. As an essayist, her prose isn't flashy or ornate. Instead, her sentences have the power to warm the depths of the soul, much like a cup of tea offered by an old friend who knows exactly when you need it most. Most of us remember sitting in front of the TV as children, watching the blue sea otter, Bonobono, the pink squirrel, Porori, and the somewhat gruff but deep-hearted raccoon, Shigeo. Back then, we laughed at their quirky, nonsensical conversations. But revisiting them as adults, we realized that their eccentric dialogues were actually profound wisdom, piercing through the very essence of life. We finally understand why we yearned so much for the nonchalant comfort of the boss cat, who told us that troubles eventually come to an end. This is a book for clumsy adults. To those of you who stay awake at night because you feel a little slower than others, or because expressing your feelings feels awkward, or because navigating human relationships seems impossibly difficult. This book says, it's okay. In fact, it says it's a relief. Bonobono is timid and slow, but thanks to that slow pace, he is the one who notices the tiny flowers blooming by the roadside. Porori is easily lonely, but that loneliness gives him the courage to be the first to strike up a conversation. I too sometimes struggle to keep up with the world's frantic pace. There are moments when the pressure to perform and the weight of others' gazes trap me, making it impossible to hear the voice of my own heart. In those moments, I open this book. I try to see the world through Bonobono's eyes. Through this reading today, I want to pass on to you the same sense of relief I felt. Now, please settle into a comfortable position. You may close your eyes if you wish. Shall we step together into that peaceful forest, where Bonobono and his friends live? First story. Living with others is a difficult task. The friends in Bonobono's forest are remarkably different from one another. The fact that the slow, deliberate Bonobono and the short-tempered, impulsive Shigeo are friends is nothing short of a miracle. In this book, the author notes that living with someone means accepting even the strange parts of who they are. I often ask my friends, Shigeo, you're not going to get mad, are you? But Shigeo always gets mad. I act timidly, and Porori asks annoying questions that make you want to tease him. And yet, we meet every single day. Why? It's because we don't expect each other to be perfect. We often carry a grading sheet in our minds when dealing with others. We think, if they are a friend, they should do this. Or, if they are a partner, they should at least do that. We try to force people into the shapes we've designed for them. But Bonobono doesn't do that. He simply accepts Shigeo's anger as a feature of who Shigeo is. He thinks, Shigeo is getting angry again today. And that's that. The author talks about the importance of distance in relationships. A distance that is neither too close nor too far, a space that allows both people to breathe. We often use love as an excuse to invade someone's privacy or demand that they understand us. But in Bonobono's forest, everyone has their own burrow, and everyone's time is respected. There is a quiet dignity in allowing someone to be exactly who they are, without trying to fix them. Living with someone isn't about enduring their pathetic side. It's not even about learning to love their pathetic side. It's simply about regarding their pathetic traits as a natural part of them, thinking, that guy just has that side to him, and then going about your own business. That is the secret to living together. After all, I might be an incomprehensibly pathetic person to someone else, too. I paused for a moment when I first read that. How many times have I exhausted myself trying to change someone? Or worse, trying to change myself to fit someone else's rhythm. We lose ourselves in the friction of trying to be compatible. But perhaps the secret to a good relationship isn't about working hard to get along. It's about not trying so hard. It's about finding a place where you can be yourself and allowing the other person the same luxury. Think about the people currently in your life who weigh heavy on your heart. What if you lowered your expectations just an inch? What if you muttered to yourself, like Bonobono, well, that's just how that person is? It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving both of you room to exist. In the forest, the trees don't ask the bushes why they aren't taller. They just grow alongside each other. Today, let's try to look at our loved ones, and even those we find difficult, with that same quiet, non-judgmental gaze. Second story. The moment you get honest, the world slowly changes. When did we start losing our honesty? It often feels like the process of becoming an adult is just a long lesson in hiding our emotions and catering to the moods of others. We wear masks of professionalism or politeness, but underneath, the real us is suffocating. This book serves as a gentle reminder of why being honest about our feelings is so vital. When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm scared, I tremble. Shigeo screams when he's angry, and Porori says he's troubled when he's troubled. We don't have words like reputation or image. What about adults? Aren't you taught that it's a virtue to smile when you're sad and endure when you're angry? But suppressed emotions don't vanish. They pile up in a corner of the heart, eventually exploding at an unexpected moment, or becoming a poison that eats away at you. Kim Shin-ho shares her own confession here. She speaks of the emptiness she felt after days of saying things she didn't mean. Driven by an obsession to be liked, she realized that she was terrified that saying, "I can't do this," or "I don't like this," would make her world crumble. But when she finally found the courage to be honest, to say, "Actually, I'm struggling," the world didn't fall apart. Instead, people began to reach out. Honesty isn't a weapon. It's courage. The courage to acknowledge yourself exactly as you are. The moment you admit, "I'm someone who can't do this," or "I'm uncomfortable right now," you finally become free. When I was lost in a cave, I didn't hide that I was scared. Because I was honest about my fear, my friends could come looking for me. If I had pretended I was fine, they never would have thought to help. This passage resonates deeply because it challenges the modern myth of fake it till you make it. We believe that showing a perfect, impenetrable exterior is the only way to be valued. But in reality, people don't connect through our perfections. They connect through our cracks. We love Bonobono because of his slowness, not despite it. We find Shigeo's temper human because he doesn't hide it. The world is often warmer than we give it credit for. It might just be waiting for us to unlatch the doors of our hearts and say, "This is how I feel right now." Being honest is the most powerful evidence that you have started to love yourself. How honest have you been with yourself today? If you take off the glasses of others' expectations and look in the mirror, what is your heart actually saying? Even if your voice trembles, that honesty will make your world a little softer, a little more bearable. Third story, comfort for clumsy adults. This part of the book is perhaps what we all need to hear the most. We thought that by the time we became adults, everything would become easy. We thought we would have all the answers. Yet, here we are, still getting lost, still getting hurt by a single word, and still dreading what tomorrow might bring. I asked the boss cat, "Hey, being an adult isn't fun." He replied, "Being an adult isn't about having fun. It's just about being an adult." That's right. The label of adult isn't a key that solves every problem. We are just children who grew bigger, still clumsy, and still afraid. So why do we lash out at ourselves for not being adult-like? The author suggests that our suffering doesn't come from being clumsy. It comes from the belief that we shouldn't be clumsy. We are our own harshest critics. I don't get discouraged if I trip or drop my shell. I just think, "Oh, I dropped it," and pick it up again. But people fall into a pit of self-loathing over a single mistake, thinking, "Why am I like this?" But remember, life is a stage with no rehearsals. This is your first time living today. How could you be perfect? Falling is natural. What matters is the courage to say, "It hurts when you fall," and the heart to pick up your shell again. Reading this feels like setting down a heavy backpack I didn't even know I was carrying. I, too, have felt the pressure of adulting, the need to be financially independent, emotionally stable, and never a burden to others. But the boss cat tells us that troubles eventually come to an end. Troubles continue as long as you are alive, but they don't last forever. Like the forest that shakes when the wind blows, but returns to silence once the wind passes. Our lives are the same. The worry that plagues you right now is just a passing wind. The important thing is not to give up on yourself in that wind. What if you're a little clumsy? What if you're a little slow? There are landscapes that only a slow-moving sea otter like me can see. The closing thoughts of the book are a balm for the soul. Everyone is living clumsily. When you feel like you're falling behind, think of Bonobono. He doesn't have to achieve anything great to be precious to his friends. His mere presence is enough. And you are the same. Even if you haven't accomplished something grand today, you are already valuable and beautiful just as you are. The Gaza, or boss cat's wisdom, is simple yet profound. Life isn't about avoiding the wind. It's about knowing the wind will pass. We often overcomplicate our happiness by attaching it to future goals, but Bonobono finds it in a well-shaped shell or a quiet afternoon. Perhaps adulting is simply the art of forgiving ourselves for being human. Closing a gentle goodnight. It seems I've shared all the stories I prepared for you today. Thank you for staying with me for so long. As we wandered through the forest of Bonobono and his friends, through Kim Shin Ho's words, did your heart find a bit of peace? To be honest, in sharing these stories, I cared more about conveying sincerity than technical perfection. I believe that the warmth we feel when we understand and empathize with each other's lives is something nothing else can replace. I truly hope these passages become small seeds in your heart, allowing you to wake up tomorrow morning with a slightly lighter spirit. Life is perhaps very much like Bonobono's quest for the perfect shell. Sometimes we lose our shell to the waves, and sometimes we get scolded by the world. But Bonobono always has a home to return to, and friends who wait for him. Most importantly, Bonobono never hates himself. We are always so strict with ourselves. Why are we so generous to others, but so stingy when evaluating our own worth? Tonight, before you drift off to sleep, I want you to say this to yourself. You did so well today. It's okay to be clumsy. I'm glad you are you. This single phrase might be more necessary than any other advice in the world. Your flaws are not something to be ashamed of. Rather, they are the gaps that make you human and allow you to connect with others. It's time now to enter the world of dreams. I will return next time with another good book and a warm voice to soothe your tired heart. If the stories today resonated with you, please share this comfort with those you hold dear. We are all connected, and it is each other's kindness that keeps us going. I pray that your season is always peaceful, and that every step you take is filled with small, beautiful joys. Have a peaceful night. Thank you.